What's up, YouTube? This is Hector.
This is Drew.
And we're from Not2NerdyEnt Entertainment. Today is episode 10 of our podcast, and we're going to be talking about PAX East 2012. Now, for those that don't know what PAX East is, it's the largest video game convention on the East Coast. And man, I had a great time. How about you?
It was awesome.
It was definitely good. So today we're going to actually talk about the games and stuff that we saw that's upcoming. So, what do you think so far? What are the games that we've seen?
Yeah, so when we first got there, our first game we looked at, we went over to the Capcom booth. We checked out Dragon's Dogma. Excellent game. This is definitely on my list for a game I want to do. It comes out in May. But yeah, definitely, get my hands on the game. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it, played really well. It's kind of like a mix between, I would say, like Demon Souls in terms of like combat and atmosphere, and a climb mechanic that's similar to Shadows of Colossus. So the demo was, I'd say, about maybe 15-20 minutes long, and you played through a section of the game. You fought a couple of enemies. The highlights being they had like a heartbeat that you could jump on, like sort of like God of War, and climb on, and then the end was like a boss fight where you actually got to fight a Chimera. Which if you guys don't know what a Chimera is, it's a lion with a goat head on top of it and a snake on the back end.
Yeah, so, snake has the tail or whatever.
Yeah, snake has the tail.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah. Pretty awesome character. I remember seeing that in one of the live streams. I was like, oh, that's pretty awesome that they had that different type of character in there. But yeah, the whole entire mechanic with that is that you actually can climb on the enemy's backs. So with that enemy type, we'll show you the video when we post it up on the site of me playing it. Is you climb on the back of the snake, take the snake out, then try to take the goat out, and then get up on the side, and then try to take out the lion. And it was pretty good. And the cool thing about the game is like you get these different things called pawns, and they're basically like your allies in the game. And you could spec up your pawns and stuff like that. It's like your traditional like RPG, but it's it's a Japanese game style. So
I thought it was pretty cool. Like I was the one recording and stuff while he was playing. And if you go look at the PAX East 2012 footage, we have like bits and pieces of the whole PAX East, everything you missed. Definitely check that out. You'll get to see stuff that we're talking about, things that you miss. You get a chance to feel like you were there.
Yeah, you definitely get the whole entire experience.
Yeah. But also, like he said, we actually got full footage of the demo and stuff like that. So we'll put that up later this week. And yeah, I mean, I thought the game looked pretty good. I thought it looked very, very cool. The way it looked like you had good control over the character, which to me, that's one of the big things that I think for a game like that, you need more control.
Yeah, I was definitely nervous at first, how the grab mechanic was work, but it was pretty intuitive. It wasn't that difficult to figure out what was going on, and it got your traditional light heavy attacks. Like, it's a decent combat system, and it's just, can they flush out the world and, bring more enemy variety and, have good RPG mechanics is really going to be whether or not it's, between an A-grade game or a B-grade game. But I definitely think it's going to be around that range. It's looking really good. So, yeah, besides that, second game we looked at was probably my surprise hit of the whole entire show, which was Sleeping Dogs.
Yes, that was pretty cool.
Like
definitely, like I said, the PAX East 2012 video that, that we edited before and stuff like that. At the end of it, like it even had I had to show the fight scenes. To me, just watching the moves that you could do and stuff like that. Like, why don't you explain to them the best moves that they
just in general, if you guys don't know about the game, it used to be True Crime Hong Kong, and Square Enix actually picked it up. Their Europe office, I believe it's like located in London, and this is basically like, I would say it's split up into maybe like 3 parts. You have your open world areas in Hong Kong where you drive around and stuff like that.
So similar like Grand Theft Auto.
So it's basically Hong Kong Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. Then you have your fighting sections, and then you have your like shooting combat sections, like cover-based shooter. So on your point, and the combat section is probably the best part of the game because it has kind of like a similar mechanic like that's found in Batman with the the reverse combat. So they have like a little marker on top of the guy's head with an exclamation mark when they're about to attack, and then you have to counter on it. First off the bat, you'll watch the video and you'll see I was having trouble with the mechanic.
Yes, you were.
just off the basis of you just have to get used to it. The timing was a little bit off with me hitting the buttons, and I don't know whether it was the game or it was me. But you know, I definitely think you know they can. Yeah, I mean,
I just say it. No, it's pretty cool.
I mean, this is not the first time I've played these type of games, so well, I think they can improve it. I'm sorry.
It's this guy right here.
Yeah, they can improve the mechanic.
It was funny though. I mean, the whole game looked pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like when you grab the person and it highlights like objects around it that's red, and you could like just push the person into the object. Mm-hmm. Say if you there's one part you push someone into a wall that had like sort of like electricity and stuff like that, and it just electrocute them. There's lights flashing, everything. It looked pretty cool. You know.
Probably the best part was there was it was like a buzzsaw, and you took their head and right into the buzzsaw. That was like one of the best.
I actually like the ones that you see in like movies all the time, where there's a pole sticking out and you got to push them, and they were just hanging there, and the pole went through them, and blood gushed out. To me, that's just creative. I mean, it's very graphic though. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
But they did a great job with that.
Yeah, and you know the shooting was pretty decent too. You know, but I think what's going to be the best part of that game is that those combat sections.
Shooting was third person.
Yeah, it was a third person cover base. It was nothing spectacular about it. Probably the most interesting part was they had you know, it was like a kind of like looked like a construction site. They had like different like wood walls up, and you could actually shoot through the wood walls and it would take out the enemies. I thought that was pretty interesting.
It kind of like, I know you might disagree with this part, but the third person aspect kind of looked like sort of similar to Mass Effect style, like the way the Mass Effect 3 third person is like. I'm not saying like the mechanics of weapons. I'm saying like the control of it, like the way you control the stuff. It wasn't.
It wasn't.
Like, I mean, when I played it afterwards, like it felt like it was like similar.
I just say that the main reason is because like just the way they had they set up the vault and stuff like that. Like if you see in the video, I'll show you like you're like take cover, and I'm used to hitting A.
Yeah.
I'm used to hitting A, and it was like LB or something weird shit.
I meant the way it looks. I'm not saying about the buttons, literally the buttons itself, because they try to do what other games try to do now. A lot of games trying to switch up the buttons. Every game for third person, they're trying to switch it up to see which way is the best format, what people are gonna like. It's just the way it is. Like that's why. For a first-person shooter, Call of Duty set the standard. Now everyone's trying to make their shooting games buttons the same as Call of Duty.
They should. I think when it comes to control, like there should be like a template of the way the game should control. That's kind of where I feel, and I feel like games like Gears of War, Mass Effect got it right, and when anyone deviates from that, that's when it really it's hard for me to control the game. And you can say the same thing about action games, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, God of War, I like that. I like those type of controls. Yeah.
I don't fault them for trying something different. I mean, you gotta try something different. I mean, they make up for it. It's not like that's the majority of the game. That's the great thing about this game. There's so many other aspects of the game, but it's pretty cool. It's like it's definitely the combat to step up. Definitely step up from Grand Theft Auto type style combat. It actually looks like a third-person shooter style combat, so like they did a great job with that. So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think what's great about the game was the amount of variety. So it's really like I think they should just keep that amount of variety, but just tighten up each section of those elements. Because they had a cool section where you had like a chase scene, and that was pretty awesome. But once again, like I feel like since they have so much variety in the game, I think they should spend a little bit more time on each section and polish it up a little bit. And that way, then it'll be a game that have the sum of all its parts rather than something that just this one section is good and this one is good and this one's terrible.
So do you think they should have kept the name? Well, I know they could have kept the name True Crime, but could they call it True Crooks because they pretty much stole a piece from every other game that's out there? Like, I'll steal this for Batman. I'll steal this for LA Noire, the chase scene.
To be honest, I actually like that. I mean. Darksiders is a perfect example where Darksiders took all these different elements and it's a good game because they got each element good. Another one is Amalur. They took the action combat, they took the RPG. I think that's the way games should be made.
It's seriously funny because you can literally pull out bits and pieces from every different types of games that are popular at the time, and they just grab that piece. I'll take that. I'll take this one too. You know what I mean?
But I'm sorry, man. Every game I played that it does that to a certain point. I mean, how many games are we playing now where there's a counter mechanic in Batman? Almost every single game has had that.
I'm just saying though, it's specifically in that context that it's not the only thing though. Like Shank 2 has that. Shank has that every time. But the difference between Shank and this is that Shank has one element that they took. This one took element from different people. They took that for Batman. They took for Grand Theft Auto. The chase scene in LA Noire is identical. It's the same exact way you have to chase or run, and there's people going your way, and you have to run, and you're falling down, and you get up, and you're trying to do the same thing, and then anytime you get close to the person has friends and it's like, oh, get them.
They find some way to get away.
They find a way to get away, and then like it's the same exact elements LA Noire. LA Noire is the same thing.
Yeah, like I said, I think they just have to tighten up each one of those elements because you can't copy something and then get it wrong. You know?
Yeah. Well,
that's the thing. That's the thing. That's where it really like it's between a knockoff and then taking an element and just making it your own. Well, I think that's the difference.
Well, one comment real quick. Before we move on to anything else is, at PAX you said that you were actually kind of shocked because you said that usually, like you said before, usually so when a company takes over a game, it's not successful. Like at you coughed Duke Nukem and then cough. The perfect example. And you can, just because it takes a long time to develop and someone else picks up. Picks it up, doesn't mean it's a disaster. You can still make the best out of it and make it a great game, because this looks like a pretty decent game. I
think to that point, I think it's mainly because Gearbox, I think they want that Duke Nukem IP. So he kind of felt like Randy Pitchford. He actually used to work for 3D Realms, which were the makers of Duke Nukem, and I feel like he felt like it was something that would be just to respect that legacy of that franchise, and that game never came out. He kind of wanted to just put it out there, just to respect the franchise, and also they wanted to buy the IP. It was probably going for pretty cheap compared to what it took to develop it. So
that was kind of I hate that game. But anyway,
it's a really bad game. But hey, Gearbox. If anyone, Gearbox can make that franchise a good game again. But yeah, so.
Well, what other games do we see?
So, I played a little bit of a bunch of different games. One being Terra. It's a new MMO that's coming out. It was originally like a Korean MMO out there, and it's a pretty good MMO. Out of all the MMOs that I played, that was the most interesting one that I tried out. This one being that there's not much to say about it, but just off the bat, it played like a little section. It was kind of like a farm area, and what I just noticed off the bat was that you can actually play the game with a keyboard and mouse as well as a gamepad. Yeah. And what really felt different when I was playing with the gamepad was it felt more like an action game. And that's something I've been really wanting out of an MMO game, because a lot of MMOs it's like you target the guy with the mouse and then he auto attacks, and it's just I think that's just getting boring at this point.
All you just clicking away.
It just feels like you're just waiting for your cooldowns to click those buttons. And this one it felt more like an action game. It had like a little dodge mechanic in it, and it still feels like an MMO because it's not Devil May Cry or MMO where you're dodging attacks or something like that. But like it felt more like your attacks, depending on what direction you had more of an impact. So if you parried behind the guy and you attacked him, you get more damage and you wouldn't take more attacks from them. So I felt that was interesting. Good thing about it, I got a little beta code that comes out April 20th. So I'll definitely give you guys a little preview of what the game is like.
Scooping up beta codes left and right in PAX East.
Also, that's the good thing about it now, that a lot of these games are having betas now and they're handing out the codes, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I tell you one thing though, PAX East, like if you guys never been there, it's definitely, if you're in the East Coast or even if you're West Coast, you want to travel. Like, I tell you right now, it's worth it. There's so many games out there. There's so many free stuff that you got. I got T-shirts, posters.
It's probably the best value you can get, man, because it's relatively cheap to actually go to the show, and all the stuff that you get out of it, man. It's worth it, man.
The funny thing is, I said when I'm going there, like this is my second time there. I'm like, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna buy a T-shirt. I'm gonna get some posters. I went there, got free T-shirts, got free posters, and I'm like, damn, what should I buy right now? Like, I got everything already, so what the hell do I need? So, but other than that, the experience is just great, man. It's just a great atmosphere and a bunch of nerds like us over there. Well, not too nerd,
But I was actually surprised, man. They did have. I kind of want to leave all this for impressions, but I was definitely surprised that there was a lot of variety of different people, man. Like there's girls that play games, and then you got the cosplayers, and you got the people who play
and there
tabletop games.
Hot girls.
Yeah.
That were there too. That's the thing. He did not believe me.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, there's no way. And he thought just the booth girls are gonna be hot. No.
Well, they don't really have booth girls, right?
Yeah, but they have girls, sort of.
Yeah, but they're not in bikinis.
No. But
there's definitely hot booth.
I mean, they're so hot that some girls had to get kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I put that on Twitter if you guys saw it. The girl that dressed up like the cosplay for
the one I have a picture with
Lollipop Chainsaw.
Took a picture with her.
Yeah, man. She was on point.
She was popping out.
Yeah, she was on point, man.
Yeah, she was.
It took everything I had to not put a single there.
So wait, what were we talking about?
Okay, so let's talk about games. We're getting sidetracked. All right. Not much to say about this game. Diablo 3, I actually got to play it.
Not much to say. Not much to say, but this guy disappeared for 2 days.
I probably played it for about an hour, maybe. And
an hour with 5-minute breaks and then going back to play for another hour.
Yeah, hey man, the game was there. It wasn't a wait.
And I'm saying, like, if I lost this guy there at PAX East, I know where to find him.
Yeah.
But he's over there by Diablo.
Yeah, so it was at the Twitch TV booth. It was Twitch TV, man. They had it on point, man. Like they were streaming the whole entire PAX East, like a lot of the panels and the whole, the show floor and stuff like that. So definitely, I posted on the site if you guys want to check out. If you weren't there, that's another good way to. That's another good way to check out footage.
That's different from last year. Then people had to wait for footage to go out for days, and this was streamed live.
Yeah, it was streamed live, so it's right there, all the videos.
So they caught up with it. They knew that they had to get a partnership with someone that's good at it, and Twitch TV is the best at streaming. So
they're on point. So they had to actually schedule. They were streaming all different types of games, which is pretty cool. But Diablo. I mean, I got to play Barbarian and the Demon Hunter class, and it's freaking Diablo, man. It's excellent, man. It's just it's so addictive. That's why this guy knew where to find it. So I mean, unfortunately, it's like I feel like I should have seen other stuff like that. This is coming out in May and all that stuff like that. But hey, I never played the beta, so I got a good chunk of the beta, and I definitely have a good feel that that's gonna be the reason why it's one of my anticipated games. But besides that, next game I played was The Secret World. That was over at the EA booth. This is actually from the developers of Age of Conan, the MMO. It's I believe Funcom is the name of the developer, and this game looks cool. When you actually play it,
it's kind of slow paced. That's the thing for me. I was like slow paced, and I mean, it's not bad. It's just not good either. Like it's just
it's just right in between, and it's just like I feel like MMO space is so crowded. It's like this game. I feel like what this game does is like it tries to look differently. Like this game has like zombies,
it's like zombies
and like mutant powers and all this other stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're clicking buttons, waiting for cooldowns, just like any other game. Like it was nothing spectacular, It definitely, like, when you get there, like, I give them props for actually looking good. Like, their booth was set up pretty good. They had a lot of different stations for all the different characters. But when you actually play there, you're like, alright, I get it.
In the end, it counts, the game counts, not just...
not just the way it just looks. Yeah. But, on that note, though, another sleeper hit was another game at the Square Enix booth, Quantum Conundrum. This game, I was definitely anticipating waiting to play it. I'm glad I played it, man, because it hit the spot. Because, watching the videos for this game, it's a puzzle type game. The mechanics for the game.
Which one is that again?
Quantum Conundrum.
How's it, like, which one was that again?
Yeah, it's actually developed by Kim Swift, who's the original developer on Portal.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of... it's a puzzle-based game similar to Portal, but the different mechanics in the game are the dimensions. So what you have it's a left right trigger, the left two bumpers. There's 4 different dimensions. First dimension is the fluffy dimension, so it turns your whole entire game world into a light fluffy based atmosphere where you can pick up like safes and stuff like that. And then all these different dimensions have different puzzles based on it. The second dimension was the heavy dimension. So everything in the game world would automatically turn heavy. And then the third one was slow motion dimension. So everything would just get slow-mo. And then the last one was reverse gravity. So in the demo, they didn't show that last dimension, the reverse gravity. It was just the first three. So it's pretty simple to grasp the concept, but the puzzles were definitely intuitive enough, so you didn't need to like go and like, you know, look at a walkthrough or something like that. You could pick it up that's off the plate. It was just kind of trial and error. So like the first, it's kind of set up like Portal, where each room is like a different puzzle.
Yeah.
So you would, the way it works is you have like these little pellets you put in a machine, and then that lets you activate that dimension for a little bit of time. So like the first one, you had to lift up a safe and put it on a button that opened a door. So all you have to do is go to the fluffy dimension, pick it up, put it on there. You know, really simple. Same thing with the heavy dimension. Something wasn't heavy enough, you had to put the heavy item on it. Like it was like I don't remember. It was like a little light item. You had to make it heavy and put it on that, and put the safe on there, and with using the fluffy dimension. The way I feel like it did a good job of ramping it up and getting more difficult. The best example was they had a glass door, right, and then it had a laser. So it kind of has like the similar lasers like in Portal. So you don't actually have like enemies that you fight back, but they have like, you know, laser guns that like shoot at you. And the way it worked was you had to make the safe light, so you can carry it up, and then throw the safe, and then change the dimension back, so that way it was a heavy safe again, and it opened and it hit the glass.
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome that like the way it worked, like that mechanically you had to pause it.
That's
and then
cool.
some other the cool puzzles were they actually had safes and they had a laser shooting at it, and you had to get to a platform on top. So the way it worked was the lasers would shoot the different safes, and you kind of had to like make a little stairway for yourself by switching out the fluffy and heavy mechanic. Right. So it was like when it was fluffy, the laser could shoot through it. Then you turn it back to heavy, so it wouldn't shoot it, and you kind of made like a little staircase going up to jump on the thing. And then the last mechanic was the slow motion mechanic, and the real cool part about that was they had like these floating furniture, and you had to slow it down to jump on the furniture. And then like they had the furniture going sideways, they had the furniture going up and down, and it would kind of like clue to you when you had to hit the button to jump on to the next one. And that was pretty much it in terms of the demo, man. It was really awesome because I felt like you got all the different mechanics in the game and all the different dimensions. You got a little piece of it. So I think that's gonna be a sleeper hit, man, because she knows what she's doing. You know, she obviously made Portal and it has a lot of those same elements where, you know, the puzzles are complicated, but you feel like you're smart when you get them, because it's not really like a thing where it's like, oh, there's one way to do it. It's like you know the mechanic, it's intuitive, you figure it out eventually.
So, I mean, I thought, like, the whole thing sounds pretty cool. I'm just shocked that you like it's a puzzle game. Usually you in puzzle games aren't the best of friends.
I don't like puzzle games. I mean, I'm actually doing a walkthrough for Warp right now, and I'm dreading it, because I feel like the worst thing for a puzzle game is when you have to go look it up, man. It really is. Let's just be honest. When I have to look it up. And I feel I'm not retarded or nothing like that, but I feel like there's a way to do it where it's intuitive. And I feel like when it's physics-based puzzles, I can figure it out, because it's like, oh, you have to do it a certain way and then you get it. Like, another game that I was trying. You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple segments where we did get stuck, but for the most part, we could figure it out by gaming it. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about puzzles.
I like puzzles. I'm really good at puzzles because I stop to think, and I try to think the differences with puzzles, especially puzzles that are like this, like they're design puzzles in a game. You gotta stop to think of what the developer, you got, like, say they give you a hint on something, right? They're showing something that looks obvious. They're doing this for a reason for you. They're distracting you with something else. So you're trying to do something that's not, it's opposite what you're supposed to be doing. That's one of those tricks that a lot of game developers do. So I stop to think as a developer what they would try to do, and that's how I usually figure out these the puzzles.
The thing is, I think what a lot of puzzle games do, and they really mess it up for themselves, is they don't introduce the mechanics slowly. Like, for example, Quantum Conundrum, like I was saying, they introduce the mechanics slowly. It's like, oh, this is the fluffy dimension. You pick it up and you put on the thing. Like, easily introduce me a mechanic and then gradually get hard. I feel like a lot of times, like, like Uncharted is a perfect example, right? That puzzle with the tomb. It's like, oh, this is the first puzzle in the game. Here you go, figure it out. It's like we haven't had a puzzle. Like, give me an easy puzzle first, and maybe introduce
the one
the mechanic.
rotating.
Yeah,
I figured that one out actually.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, but how long did it take you?
It took me 15 minutes.
Exactly. The puzzle should never take no 15 minutes.
I mean, in a way, it's some puzzles you just gotta think and expand your mind because you gotta think like the character. Like if you really think about, like for example, like you said Uncharted, you gotta think like the character. He's like that whole thing has to do with that sort of like Indiana Jones type thing. You have to sit down, you have to figure out the clues, stuff like that. That's it. They set it up. You have to think like the character. If you thought like the character, you look around and you'll figure it out.
Yeah, I understand that, but the thing is, when you have such a variety of things going on, it's like Uncharted. When that puzzles come up, I'm like, can you just get back to either the cutscenes or me shooting stuff? Because it's just not fun. But enough about puzzles. I mean, there's good puzzle games and there's obviously bad ones, and maybe we differ on that. But next game I actually played, Bloodforge. It's a Xbox Live title. It's actually coming out this month. Kind of hard to describe this one, but it's just your basic action game. The way it had a really good art style and graphics presentation for a downloadable game. It's kind of like it's going for like that prehistoric type of vibe where the guys have like skulls on their heads and like they're dressed up in barbarian wear and stuff like that. And you like fight different barbarian monsters and stuff like that. It was a basic game. Like you had your light attacks with a sword and heavy attacks with a sword. You had like a crossbow you could shoot enemies with, and it's nothing like crazy like a Devil May Cry or a Bayonetta or nothing like. It was just basic regular combat, and it'll be told whether or not have a lot of variety in the game. But I definitely piqued my interest off just basically off the way it looked and the way it felt.
You said Xbox Live game?
Yeah, it's Xbox Live arcade game. Yeah,
that's cool.
So I will definitely give you a quick look at what the game looks like.
That's cool.
Whether or not we do a walkthrough, I'm not too sure.
Maybe a let's play.
Yeah, maybe just a let's play of what the game looks like. Right. We'll see. Because it really depends if the demo is that much different. Then maybe show something different I don't know about. I haven't decided yet. But besides that, next game I actually played was Orcs Must Die 2. That game.
Yeah, I was filming that. Yeah, you're playing that.
We got some footage of that. I tried out the new Sorceress class. Only different between her and the other guy is she has magical powers. It's pretty much Orcs Must Die. I mean, it's not much different. The only difference now is it's gonna have co-op play. It's
but what is it?
It's like it's a tower defense.
Tower defense.
It's a third-person tower defense game. So you have like different traps you can put down, and you basically have to stop the orcs from reaching
all the different waves and stuff like that.
Yeah, different. It's just wave-based enemies, and you have different traps that you can put down and different skills you have. If you were watching the demo, I explained it though. I think I chose the wrong skill because I think you have like an active skill that you can always use, like a melee active skill and then like a ranged attack. I think I didn't pick the melee attack, so like I had to wait for my magic to always charge up. But it's gonna be a good game. I'm obviously gonna get it. I definitely hope that they do have split screen, so me and you can do a little split screen Orcs Must Die, because I feel that's best when that game is. I feel that's really what was lacking.
Yeah, you need someone
else.
You
need co-op, because it gets very boring if it's just.
And it gets kind of hard because they're coming from all different directions. Like if you're going one side, there's more from the other side.
Yeah, I definitely hit a point like I was loving it, and then it just got like it ramped up really hard, and I was like, all right, this is not fun anymore.
It's pretty clear though. Yeah, it was clear, nice. I liked it. Everything looked good. Everything looked smooth, and it actually was a good game. Yeah,
I think it's like one of those games where it's like kind of you either like it or you don't. There's absolutely really nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's not. It's a downloadable title. If you're looking for that type of experience, like it's up there, man. It's up there with the best of them.
For me, I was just shocked. Like if you look at the videos, stuff like that, when we posted up for the walkthrough, it's like the environment itself, like. Hurts the orcs. Like I didn't. Was the first one like that too? Like the cart that's moving around, circling around like that.
I don't think so. I don't think there was carts.
Because that's what I'm saying. Like it looked like the environment itself could it hurt them as well.
Yeah. I mean, they had some environmental things. Like in the first one, they had like pits that you could you had like a force push. You could push them into
well,
the
yeah,
pits.
that's
and stuff
different.
Like
You were literally attacking them too. You not do anything, and
Yeah.
they'll just walk into it,
Yeah.
like it'll hit them as it's coming around.
Yeah,
like,
that was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I hope they add more variety like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe if it's a different board or it's a different level, there might be something else, environmental.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know. I never completed the game. Maybe they.
What happened was the one you froze the guy.
Yeah,
you froze the orc right on top of the track, and then the car came back and hit him. Like that to me, like you're using the environment to help.
Yeah. That's always good, man.
So I thought that was definitely pretty good. No, that's pretty cool. So what other games?
So actually, both of us played next game, Spec Ops: The Line. That was the second day we played. I kind of want to hear what your impressions are in that game.
Oh, Spec Ops: The Line. I actually liked it. I liked the form, the way third person shooter stuff. But let me jump real quick into before we actually play the game. We have to wait a good hour, 50 minutes or so for the game. And I know you guys think it's PAX East. Obviously, you're going to wait for line. I don't mind waiting for line. But then when I found out why, when you're doing a game demo, right? Like 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes at most.
15 to 20 minutes at most.
Yeah, that's how long it should be. They gave you a huge demo. I don't even know how long was the demo itself. Like,
was it half an hour,
5
minutes?
Half-hour demo. They gave people to try. So now you have all these screens and people are playing the game and stuff like that, and they're all playing half-hour demos.
Yeah, because the thing you have to realize is, all right, half an hour doesn't sound that long, but when you have people who don't know what the hell they're doing, it's a long
ass time. Half-hour plus, like, if you screw up, you go back to the last checkpoint over and over and over again. Like, it's a half hour if you do know what you're doing. That's the thing that.
And it was getting me frustrated. Like we were in the beginning, not the beginning, but like really towards the end to actually play the game, and we're sitting there watching people like mess up.
Yeah,
it's just driving me nuts. Because I mean, I died once. You died twice because you had a higher difficulty. But you know, we went through the demo and stuff like that. But like we saw people dying over and over again. And it's like they need a limit, man. You know?
I died twice, and like I'll get to that part. That part in a second. But I chose the highest difficulty when I was playing it. I enjoyed everything. I enjoyed the way it looked. Everything looked pretty cool for a third-person shooter. It was unique. I actually thought they did a really good job for a third-person.
So explain what is the game if people have never seen it before. Like what's the setting? You know.
Was it Dubai? They're in Dubai or whatever, and this is like a apocalyptic Dubai. So like it's sort of like towards the I forgot how they set the whole scene.
Yeah, but it's like it's a third-person military shooter.
Yeah, it's a military shooter. But I'm just saying like the scene is in Dubai, like this desert area and stuff like that. Everything, the whole scene is, you know, you kind of felt in the beginning like it's gonna be like a Call of Duty game, which it sort of had some similarities with the slow motion aspects and stuff like that. But in the end, like since it's a third-person shooter, it gave a whole new perspective into the game, which I liked the fact they didn't go with first-person shooter.
Yeah, actually, what I liked the most out of it was not really so much it was like third-person or anything like that, because that's a variation. But I think what made it different was I felt like they were treating war more like an adult. You know what I mean? It wasn't like an action movie like a Michael Bay experience, where I feel like that's what Call of Duty's become. It's like, oh, just move me on to the next coolest thing we can do, or we're slowing down. Like I felt like, you know, maybe it didn't have like, you know, choices of what you can do, but I felt like they were treating like an adult. And like war is like really, you know, war is hell basically. You know, they had like you in the desert and like you were fighting like this terrorist rebel group, and then you were actually fighting like other soldiers. I'm not too sure. I've never seen that before, where you're actually fighting other army soldiers, which is really interesting. Usually it's always like some third world rebel group or something like that, and like I felt like, oh wow, I'm actually shooting other people who might be American or something like that. And I think that's what kind of, you know, stood out for me, because I felt like, oh, that's different. You know, what's like the story that, you know, I feel like what's gonna make or break this game is the story's good, and they explain that well, why you're there and like what's going on. You know, there's
some features that separate it from like Call of Duty and all that stuff. One feature is you can control the other character to tell them that I need you to shoot this person over here.
Yeah, squad based.
And you know, you actually had a problem with that. You didn't understand how to do it the right way because they literally didn't explain too well in the game. I fooled around. I accidentally spotted how to do it the right way because at first I thought they had to be in sight to actually line up the diamond over them. But I found out afterwards that they could, you know, sometimes the enemy pokes out and then they drop down, they take cover. Like, even though they're behind the ledge, if you know they're there, you can highlight them red, and they'll still be highlighted, so they know that. And
see, this is my thing with the games a lot of the time. I don't pay attention. I'm just going to honestly be it. Yeah. I feel like if I can't figure it out intuitively what's going on, and I miss it, then it's not well designed.
I think it's well designed, because that's the aspect, like you said, you missed it, you don't need to use it. But it definitely helps you. So like,
I want to use it.
That's what I'm saying. It helps you. That's what I'm saying. Like, you should have paid attention. Cause like,
well, this is the thing. I felt like, all right, I just came off of Mass Effect 3. That's a squad-based game. Just off the interface alone, you can figure out what's going on. You have left and right character, right? And their different ability on it, left and right button. Like, it just makes sense. You know what I mean? Where this one, do you remember what the button was? Yeah. I don't even remember what the button was.
The reason why I kind of liked it is because the way it's singled out, you control who's gonna take what person. That right there, it's better technique. You can control how. I unfortunately kept doing it the wrong way. I did it. I just kept aiming for the wrong way, not thinking, because there's strategy involved in this. There's snipers up top, right? Obviously, there's a guy with a shotgun coming up towards me. I'm supposed to be single and take out the guy up top so that I can take out the guy that's coming up here. Instead, I tell the people to take out the guy here, and then I'm facing this way and I got sniped. Like, you know, you have to use it for the right reasons.
The only time I actually used it when the little thing came up on the screen. It's like, oh, press left bumper. And I'm like, okay, I hit left bumper, and it's like, it's not working. And I'm like, oh, move the reticle over here, then hit left bumper. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I just totally forgot about the mechanic. I'm just going there, I'm shooting everyone. You know what I mean? That's how I kind of feel like. You know, it's like you forget about they have that mechanic because you're so, you know, you're playing Call of Duty and you're so used to, you have squad mates with you, but you don't actually control them. I just totally forgot.
You need to do it, and like, I don't think you need to do it, maybe because you were in the easy
normal
mode. But in the horror mode, there was the one point where I had 5 snipers. There's 5 snipers at the rooftop. There's no way I could take all of them, and as soon as I stood up, there's 3 of them pointing right at me. So I had to set it up the right way for them to cover me while I could take out other people.
So what are the type of squad abilities that you have? Because that's something I totally forgot as well. I couldn't remember them because I didn't use them.
Like, to say, you could tell them to move forward or stay back.
Like, do they have any special abilities? Like, you know, Mass Effect, they have all different powers. Is there anything you can do besides just shoot people?
There's nothing at the moment the demo, but the way...
Because wasn't there like stun or something? You could stun the guy? I didn't get that.
There's more techniques in it, but like, I don't think it was in the demo. I think that this is something that they see as the story went on. You're gonna get more ability, more things.
Yeah, because I could understand. All right, like, I tell this guy throw a grenade or something like that. Like, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, no, there's other stuff. There's more buttons on a bomb. You can actually tell them to shoot. You can tell them to throw a grenade.
And is that a separate button, or is it like a radio menu?
As you're holding the other button, you can actually click up down like the direction pad. They actually said you click on what. The same way you threw a grenade, you know how to throw a grenade at least, right? Yeah, like you hold, while you're holding that button, you press that and they do that. So they'll do the same things you could do, that you can send them to do it for you while you're aiming at them. So you just give them a target or a spot that you want them to throw. So like, it's good because you get to control. Like for me, like I used to love SWAT. Back in the day, that game SWAT where you got to control them and say, oh, move here, and you break in, you breach, and you go in, and like you control them. And to me, it's good. The only problem was this: since I was in a difficult setting, the computer AI,
I felt like they sucked
on your team was not too smart.
Yeah, I think they were bad.
I think they're pretty bad, and like the reason why I think this, I'm in the hardest setting. Okay. I screwed up. I admit, I know I screwed up because there's a part where you're going down the steps, there's 2 guys there, and you're supposed to put on your silencer. I put on the silencer, right? No, I put on the silencer, wrapped it up. Then I accidentally pressed the button again. He took off the silencer. I didn't realize he took off the silencer. And then I shot the one guy. I sent a tag, like I ordered them to shoot one guy, I shot the other guy. But I made a noise. So they used a sniper gun, or they used a silencer. I didn't. I made a noise, the alarm went off.
Yeah.
So as I'm running down the steps, Now there's a point where you turn. Now that they know we're coming down those steps, they're all lined up there. There's like 10 guys there, right? Mm-hmm. I'm there in the corner, peeking through the corner because third-person shooter, you can see, you can look through the corner, stuff like that. So I'm trying to set up and kill one person at a time. My teammates just come down and they run out. They just run out there. All of a sudden, all you hear, and like they both went down at the same time. And the problem with this is, in the game, when your partner is down, you have to revive them, just like any other game. But you have to go there and you have to inject them with the needle, and then they pop up. So you have a certain amount of time. If that reaches the full where they bleed out, and you lose. You lose that. You have to start all over from the last checkpoint. So I'm looking at it, and I know that I can't get him yet because there's too many guys. I'm trying to kill one guy at a time, and there's so many guys coming up because I made that noise that eventually I'm like, damn, he only had a little bit of life left. I ran out there to inject him. As soon as I injected him, I got sniped. And I died. I had to start all over from the checkpoint.
I think it's really hard to do squad-based games.
I just think it's not as hard if you have a smart computer, but I don't think that your guys, especially since you are the leader, I don't think they should move first. They should not move unless they order. They should always stay behind. Mm-hmm. I can't believe that I'm in the corner and they just ran out. Like, it was just completely the dumbest thing. If you're talking about real life, who in the hell is gonna?
Yeah, but it was like Call of Duty in terms of like you're always following someone. There's a marker on it, and it's like it won't happen until that person reaches a certain point. You know what I mean? It's like I feel that's so stupid. Like, I hate that.
But the thing is this though. The thing that just killed me. That at that point though, they're following me down the steps. Like they're literally following me down the steps. I stopped and they just kept running outside. Oh, you get shot. Like, are you kidding me? No, that just got me upset. Besides the AI for your partners, like, I think the game looks different. It looks cool. Like, it might be interesting to see the whole story, like you said.
Yeah, I think the story, the location are the highlights of the game. To me, though, the gameplay of it needs to be tightened up. You know, the controls were a little bit off. Like, I had to mess with the sensitivity a lot, and like it didn't feel right. Like, I had to change it to the default, and then the default was. Like, I feel like they could tighten that up. Third-person games, Gears of War, Mass Effect, they feel right when you're shooting someone. I didn't feel like it was up to par with that. So I feel like, they have a little bit of time, maybe tighten it up a little bit. I know it's coming out in June, but, that's what they should spend time on at most. I think with the concept that they have and the setting, all this stuff like that, that looks great. But what do you think about the controls? You think it felt good?
I felt it was okay. I didn't really have a problem with control too much. I think at points, sometimes it was kind of, it was kind of hard to aim at something really small. Like if someone's like right in the corner trying to snipe and they're still popped up.
Especially when I really noticed it was not so much when you had a shotgun or something because you had a wide spray or an assault rifle because you could just, even if you missed, you could move over. It's when you had like a turret gun or you had like sniper rifle, like something where you had to specifically shoot something. I'm like, move over, you know what I mean? It was driving me nuts.
I love sniping in games, so like I'm pretty good at sniping a quick shot. And like for me, I missed a couple shots that I was just stunned that I missed shots that were wide open, and then it seemed like it was a little like it shifted too quickly and then it slowed down in certain spots. It was weird that dimension.
Yeah, the thing is like that's probably the hardest thing to fix though. I could definitely understand that because you play Call of Duty and you're like, that's what it's supposed to feel like, and then you play other first-person shooters and it doesn't feel like that, and you're like,
well, I don't like Call of Duty's quick scope either, to be honest with you. That's why people cheat with the quick scope because
which game do you think has the best sniping in terms of control-wise?
The best sniping?
Yeah.
Back in the day, the best sniping is Halo, I think. Even though it's unrealistic in space, that's the best sniping.
Yeah,
because
I totally agree.
That's the most
I totally agree.
Sniping,
when I play that mode, the sniper mode in Halo, I love it. Because Halo, I think, mastered controller. Yeah. That's exactly why, like, before that, I'm like, you can't play first-person shooters on anything but a PC. You know what I mean? And that's exactly why, until Halo came along, they mastered it. They just had the perfect amount of aim assist,
I just think right away, sniping in Halo is good, and there's so many aspects to it. Then Call of Duty, that's why people cheat and use quickscope. Yeah. They don't. When's the last time you see someone actually? The good people don't line up the shot.
But
they do zoom and shoot.
Once again, it's kind of hard to compare this because it's not Call of Duty. It's a third-person shooter.
I understand.
So it's kind of like it has that whole entire like look and feel closely to like a first person military shooter, but it's a third person one, so it's kind of weird. It's like, you know, it's a whole entire different ball game in terms of the way it should feel. But yeah, off of that, you know, I'm definitely excited to try it out. Just for, you know, we've said this for the story and so forth.
Yeah,
but,
so it's definitely, I think it's definitely worth checking out. I can't wait to see what they have in store for the store. So
yep.
Definitely something else. So what else on the list?
We're getting down to the nitty gritty. We just had 2 more games that I saw. I didn't actually get to play them, but one of them was really interesting. Super Time Force. It's a small indie game. Best way to describe it, kind of hard to describe. I put up actually a video and a little description of what the game was on the site. If you want a little bit more depth, but basically it's kind of like a Contra shooter. It's like an 8-bit shooter, but the mechanic in this game was actually time travel. But the way it worked, it's kind of hard to explain. But think of it as Braid, like the time mechanic in Braid, where you reverse time, and Super Meat Boy. If you guys ever played Super Meat Boy, when you die at the end of the level, it's a platform game, and you know the way it works is like it's very short levels and they're very difficult. And when you get to, what happens is after you complete the level, it'll show all the times that you died. So it'll have a bunch of little meat boys on the screen as you complete the level and show each one of them they died until you get to the one where you actually beat the level. So the way this game works is you play through the game, and every time you die, it reverses time. And you go back to the beginning of the level, and it has all the different times that you died come along with you. So the way it works is you'll shoot an enemy, right? And if your former self shot that enemy before, you don't have to shoot it. You know what I'm saying? And it's very difficult that way. Like, it's very difficult. You're supposed to die a lot of times. So the way it works is like by the time you beat the level, you got a bunch of different people with you, like a bunch of yourself shooting at things. And the way it works is like if you die at a certain point in the level, you can actually make a checkpoint at where you died. So it's like, it's kind of hard to explain, but like just watching it, you're like, whoa, this is like, they got that mechanic down. Like that's the kind of thing where it's like you take 2 different elements of the game and make it your own. Like they knew what they were doing. It was pretty cool, and like it had that whole entire Contra vibe. And they're saying like they might have different playable characters. Like they said they might have a ninja who jumps on walls, kind of like Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that. So you know they had different characters that you could have.
Or Gaiden?
Gaiden.
I don't know. Everyone says Gaiden. Some people say Gaiden. I don't know. So.
But yeah, that was definitely one of the sleeper hits. In terms of like indie games, like that's one I've never heard of, and I was most surprised. I wish I got a chance to play it, but shoot, I would have. I don't know what the hell I would have done with that game, because it seems like a concept that's really hard to get. But once you understand it and see the way it works, you're like, hey, that's pretty cool. Like, then I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think it's coming out. Maybe summer, I believe. They haven't announced what platforms it is, but it looks probably Xbox Live, PSN, Steam, most likely.
Before we get to the last game that we talk about, there's something else I don't think was on your list that we should talk about also. For creators of Shank 2. That
was my next game.
See, I was skipping ahead.
So go ahead. Talk about
what's the official name of the game again?
It's called Mark of the Ninja.
Mark of the Ninja. All right, this game is same people that created Shank 2. So it actually looks like once you look at it, like I actually didn't know it had anything to do with Shank 2, and I looked at it, I'm like, wow, that looks exactly like Shank 2 the way it looks. But the artwork, everything is just like Shank 2, just as gory. The difference is it's now a ninja. So forget about Shank and doing all those stuff. No, now it's all about stealth mode. Now you're trying to like go places without being seen, sneak up on people, slice them, dice them, do what you have to do like if you're a ninja. And the whole aspect of the game looks pretty cool because you added the whole stealth feature to it. So now there's enemies. You could take out the lights, which I really like, and then awesome. you could they're looking around and they can't see too far because it's dark, and you can sneak up on them and kill them, or you could just totally sneak out and not kill anyone.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's one of we got to talk to the PR guys over there, and we asked them a couple questions, and I think they have a good understanding of what these stealth games are supposed to work. And we were just talking about how there should be different ways how you play the game. And he definitely understood that. Like the way he explained it was, you can either play it like the action way, where like you're trying to get those stealth kills, or you can play the whole entire game without killing a single person and just sneak around the whole entire game. And then he said the third way you can play is actually like a speed run. Yeah. So like they know exactly how these games are played by different people, and I feel like they are playing to that. They know exactly what needs to these games need to be in terms replayability in terms of it's
one thing he didn't show they showed a cartoon version of a clip, but he said that it's gonna be later on later levels where you throw a smoke grenade and stuff like the smoke. And like that's what I want to see. That's like straight up ninja style. You throw something down the ground, people can't see it, and then you come up and kill them. That's awesome. Like the way they also had the one where with like directly he threw the ninja stars and stuff. Like the lights, took out the lights. What other techniques did he have?
I think he was like hanging off of. He was hanging off of the lamps and come like he was hanging off of it and like snapping their necks and stuff. I think.
What's that gun called? The one with the rope and stuff like that.
I'm not sure.
Like he used it to sling up the higher spots, stuff like that.
Grappling hook.
Yeah, grappling hook. There you go. That's why he's using the grappling hook all over in the game and stuff like that. It's like true ninja style, and it's pretty. Cool.
And the cool thing about it is like there's a variety of ways to complete a level. Yeah. Like you can sneak up in the vents, go up on the roofs, take out the lights, and like just sneak past. Like another important thing to that he mentioned, which is something stealth games, this Deus Ex, once again, that I feel like they looked at those games and realized what doesn't work, and he didn't explain it too well, but I actually looked it up and what the boss battles are going to actually be like, and from what I've read that the way the boss battles are going to work is you'll have a target in a building, and then you have a bunch of enemy guards around that target, and you just kind of have to figure out that way to go around the enemy guards to get to that target. So it kind of seems like Assassin's Creed maybe, like where you have a high profile target and you have to figure out that way to get to that target. So it's not gonna be like these boss battles where it's gonna switch up and it's gonna be like Shank 2 or something like that. Like they're gonna keep that mechanic of sneaking around, and then the way they're gonna increase the difficulty is just putting more enemies at you, and
The only thing I did not like about the game, everything was great about it. I just didn't like the fact they took out the feature for to play with someone else. There's no way you play with someone else, no co-op mode. Do waves and stuff.
That's gonna be in the second one.
It's
gonna be in the second one.
I think that'd be kind of cool to do with the ninjas and stuff. Like to do a second player like that. That's something that I think that they might have done. I was kind of bummed out when we asked him that. I was waiting for him to say yes, and he's like, no.
Even if it was like a mode where you can have another person, and you would have like little levels that you can just sneak around and go through an area and then try to get the best score. Something like that.
I think
I don't know exactly what they would do though. I'm trying to.
I would figure it out. It'll be awesome. There's two people in the same level together, like level by level, playing together.
Because the thing is, like, they're doing something so differently that I haven't seen before. It's kind of hard to imagine what you would actually have to do. I mean, first of all, like, a stealth 2-player game? I can't think of one off the top of my head.
That's another added thing, though. Like, not only do you have to sneak and be quiet, the person behind you has to sneak and be quiet.
I know, but I haven't seen that. So how would you do that?
Or what if someone else comes and distracts the guy and you come from behind and kill them?
I totally agree. I would love to see that. It's just like it's the same thing on like action games. It's like once someone does it, then it'll make sense to me. Because I mean, just off the bat, what they're doing is pretty innovative. I mean, even though we've seen stealth games, but they're always either top down or third person. We haven't seen a 2D stealth game.
The one thing I didn't get a chance to see though, I don't know if you did. Did they have the reaction quick one time where the exclamation point goes up on their head and you have to react to them swinging? Like in Shank 2, like you could counter their moves. Like I didn't see that.
I don't think so. I think like the only QuickTime events was when you snuck up on a person. I don't think they had a QuickTime event to counter people.
I think you're supposed to not. Be
I don't think it's supposed to be played like an action game like that. Yeah.
So that's what I was kind of curious about.
Which is a good thing. I don't think they should take stuff from Shank 2 and put it in this game. I think they should really stick to a stealth game, If you get caught by an enemy, get away from the enemy, you know what I mean? I don't feel like you should just be able to easily take them out, But it was definitely, that was another surprise.
We almost missed that surprise too. We walked by and I saw him like, oh, whoa, like,
Because I didn't even know the name of the Shank Apply Entertainment.
Yeah.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And the good thing about it was, they were free and they had time to like answer questions because most people missed it as just like us. It was like in the corner or something.
Yeah, it's in the corner.
It was like in the corner by like
booth,
all those like the booths where they for the gaming schools or something like that. It was like it was a weird
location for it, but. It's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. I mean, there's more games, but that's our main impression for the main ones that we saw.
Now, there's one last game that we're going to talk about, which is the game that no one played. They had a special booth for it to actually, you got to see a preview of the game coming out. This is going to be one of the most anticipated games coming out. Yeah. I mean, you could ask Best Buy about this because obviously they want to post pictures before it truly is out.
And there's more pictures now.
Yeah, there's more pictures out there.
You check them out on the site. There's actually more pictures from what we actually saw.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell them what we saw.
So before I get there, there's also people already pre-ordered this game. They already did a whole bunch of this for this game because they can't wait for it to come out. And that game's obviously Assassin's Creed 3. Mm-hmm. Now, I was skeptical of this game. I said like all this stuff that's coming out. I'm like, all right. It's great that they say all this stuff. I remember telling you specifically, I'm not going to say anything till I see it in person. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I got to see it in person. So now that I saw the gameplay, let me start off by saying, wow. Yeah. That's all I can say. I don't know how it's going to work when you're actually playing the game, but the way it looks, someone else that knows what they're doing playing the game, because they show gameplay footage of it, was just amazing. It starts out that, it shows scenes that you're right on the side of a war, which obviously, the war.
It takes place in a Revolutionary
War. So it just, you want to...
off the bat, just the most amazing thing that you'll see, just off the bat, just looking at it, it was like 2,500 enemy soldiers on the screen.
Well, that's what they said. That's a new feature they added. They can add so many people on the engine that it looked like you felt like you're in a real world, like a real war and everything. Because if you saw the people in the background, like each character looked like they were doing a different motion, firing, and that's another thing they focus on, the firing.
And I'm so skeptical about that. I'm like, my frame rate's gonna drop on the PC. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, come on, there's no way. You know what I mean? Like, but from what they showed us, it looked amazing. It's something I'd never seen before, man.
The firing line, they wanted to make it consistent. You're gonna see the firing lines, people step up and fire, like the way they're shooting and stuff. And
that was awesome.
And the reaction though, what they added for the character, what's his name again? Connor, right? As Connor's running around, like you see a clip, he's running around, and there's a cannon that just landed right in front of him, and like the dirt came up, and he sort of reacted, so he flinched, and they added more reaction to the character itself, which. Right away, that's awesome. When the dirt kicked up towards the screen, it looks so real. So he's hiding behind a rock, and he's trying to find a path to go.
And the cool thing about it, they said you could choose a different path, right?
You could choose the path that you feel is more right.
Like the stealth path or like, the more action-based path.
So he goes around the corner, and he's still dodging people, and it's sort of like there's a war going on, but you're still not.
You have your like own objective.
Yeah, you're not really helping anyone. Yeah. You're not on his side really. You're just out there.
Yeah, because the basis of it was he had to kill it was a Templar, right? But it was actually like a commander or something that was on the other side of the battlefield.
Because they said but to understand it more, the character Connor is half British, half Native American.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why he's caught in between.
Yeah, because that's another good thing about it. It's a very the historical background of the game is it's pretty factual and stuff. Like those I think it's Mohawk Indian. They've actually fought on both sides. Depending on what was best interest for them.
And it's just crazy because like you see him going around, and then like he came to the area where he had to go. On, I believe, was it the tree? The tree was first, right?
So he moves off the side of the battlefield, and he gets more to a more, I would say, like an area with more trees. And,
it's more secluded area that has trees and stuff like that. And
similar to the trailer. Area, right?
But this right here was people were questioning, how's it gonna work?
Yeah, me included.
Because Assassin's Creed is known for. You got like parkour, you got like the free running. You have all that stuff in the game.
But in the
how
city,
they can use it.
yeah, in the city. That was my main thing.
Building the building, and how are you going to do this if you're in a war area? How are you going to do this? So what do? They use the tree mechanic now. Now the tree mechanic is ridiculous. It's just crazy. You could jump from tree to tree and.
The funny thing, remember in the video, he's like, we went to try to figure it out, but not make it like Tarzan.
They said they're afraid it's gonna look like Tarzan.
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
It doesn't, because I feel like they looked at the structure of the trees. I don't know what they said. They had some engineer who was looking at trees all day or something like. But they figured out a way to make the trees look realistic, and be able to parkour from each tree to tree. So they had like some trees like were shaped. One was shaped like a boomerang type of tree, and he could like jump in the middle of it, and like. Oh,
see, the funny thing is that guy was smoking trees, not just looking at the trees. It's cool because you swing off trees, and the one cool thing that I liked was not just the way you go from tree to tree and stuff like that. It's the aspect that you could actually go forward. And there's a part where a branch went forward, and the whole screen's coming this way to give it a 3D effect. Remember that? The one scene? Like, that's something that's different right there, that you're going forward in the game as everything's coming towards you. And I thought that was pretty awesome to do that on the tree.
And it felt like it wasn't like a solid path, because that was one of my things I was worried about. I was thinking like, oh, well, if they have all these different trees, there's gonna be like one way you can go. They're all spread out, and you can go wherever in the direction you want it to go, and it all worked, And
they had cutscene where they show he actually used his dart rope, whatever. Is that what it's called? That he slinged the dart at one of the soldiers. And then he jumped off the tree and he pulled the dart.
It was like a pulley, and it pulled it. That was the
and he was hanging, like the guy just hanging there, like dangling his feet dangling and stuff like that. And even the creative director even made a joke about that. And he started saying, I forgot what he said, like blah blah blah. He's like, oh, and notice how the feet just dangling up in there. I thought
everyone was laughing. Yeah, it was hilarious.
But that feature is cool. Like. The way his fight mechanics, they improved the melee attacks and stuff like that. He uses as tomahawk.
I love the part where he took that tomahawk and he just right in the middle of the guy's forehead.
And he said you still have the blades.
He said, don't worry, like the rumors on the internet, like you still have the hidden blades, which is pretty cool.
What else? It went from that to the fight scene, which is amazing. The way he did stuff, the tomahawk. So I'm still sort of curious if you could throw the tomahawk, because that's what I want to know. If it's a move, like maybe it'll be like a finishing move, like you kill someone and you throw a tomahawk and he kills them, and then you run and pick up the
and the cool thing about the enemy design was too, like he said, like he was like, well, we realized there's a Revolutionary War. And if you guys know anything about the Revolutionary War, is like the guns were like. They were not accurate at all. They were crappy guns. So like you'll see like the guys like putting the thing up or using the bayonet, and like you have to use that to your advantage. You know what I mean? Which was pretty cool. And the thing like I liked about it, and like I get where they're coming from, is like the reason like America won the war is because of these guerrilla tactics. So it fits in perfectly with the Assassin's Creed, the mechanics of the Assassin's Creed games.
I like the next part. This is something that's different. A whole new mechanic that they added was. Like rock climbing. And they use it. They use actual rock climbers. They said they research it and everything. You can actually tell because at the beginning you can't tell like he's climbing up, right? But then when he starts tilting his hand to position his hands in between the cracks and stuff, and he's slowly going up just like a real rock climber can, that was amazing. But the one part where he was dangling and he's just using upper body, his feet were dangling, like just like a rock climber would be dangling, and then he grabbed on and he went and he hopped over. Like to me, like even that looks so realistic on how like, I don't know if you guys seen like how someone climbs a rock. If you see like professional rock climbers and stuff like that, people that actually do this, the way that they dangle, the way they use their upper body, the way they put their hands in the cracks, they really research this stuff to make it look so realistic. So I give them lots of props on that.
Yeah, definitely. The only thing, it's like all these different mechanics. It's like, how the hell am I gonna know what to do? That's the thing I'm worried about. It's like, how do I know that I'm gonna have to go on these trees and then go up this cliff and stuff like that? I just hope it's intuitive enough where I can actually figure out
where the direction is. Because the rocks, like, here's the thing, the rocks didn't really have, like, cracks and, like,
yeah,
they had cracks, but it didn't label.
The closest thing is, like, I can compare it to was Uncharted 3. They didn't have, like, they'll have a glowing bit where you have to go to the next part. Like, it was just, like, all realistic.
It was realistic.
Yeah.
There's no way of you saying, go here, go there. Like, it's straight
it
up,
could be a good or a bad thing. It just depends how they design it. If they make it obvious enough where you're supposed to go. You know what I mean?
But the problem was, in the video, I don't know if you saw it, like, he's climbing this way, but there's a path that way. There's a clear path there. But I sort of saw a soldier there. So, like, it's funny because, like, you have the choice of going the road, the trail, but then he decided to climb up, so he didn't have to go to
exactly, that's the thing. So it's kind of like they give you a lot of different choices, but like, obviously that was the better choice because you got to sneak up on the guy. Right?
He snuck up all the soldiers. That one scene that was freaking awesome. He got to kill the one guy, or it ended right before they killed him.
Yeah, it ended right before.
So it was dope though. The whole game looks amazing. I still don't know how it's gonna work. The tree, the rock climbing, how it's actually gonna work into the game. And I'm still kind of curious. Is it gonna be like it's too hard to figure out like where to go next? That's a problem.
To me, with that game though, I feel like I already knew I was gonna get it. I'm a big fan of Assassin's Creed. The last one was definitely a letdown for me. That's probably like the only one I haven't completed. But I know definitely off the bat of what I read about the game, and this just confirmed that. I'm glad I pre-ordered it. I'm definitely I'm anticipating this game.
I think also the booth itself for PAX East was probably the best, the most proper booth I think out of all of them. The most visually appealing, the way they sat down. That was the best non-playable demo because you couldn't play it, but it just you didn't care. At that point, like, you want to play so badly, but yet you're so entertained watching that you're like, it was worth waiting in line for.
But it was definitely worth because there still isn't footage of it. You know what I mean? There still isn't footage of it, and that enough was worth waiting for.
It was worth it. You actually felt like it was worth the wait. You sat down, you couldn't wait for more. You didn't want the video to end.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
and I feel like they did enough answering of the questions I worried about that they know what they're doing. They left enough to. What the city's gonna look like and stuff like that. There's enough for you to be anticipated enough, but enough to like calm your nerves, and not worry that it's gonna be like the last game. It's definitely different, man. Everything about the game is still Assassin's Creed, but just that unique twist of the Revolutionary War.
So that's pretty much it. Assassin's Creed right there. I mean, we pretty much went over everything PAX East. I mean, I just want to say, like, first, what do you think overall your experience PAX East? It was your first year.
Yeah, I mean, the first, just off the bat when I got there, man, it's impossible not to be overwhelmed, man. I mean, it's like a small city in there, man. And no matter how many times like you explained to me the way it's gonna be, once you get there, like, you're like, wow, you can't use words to describe just how big it is and how much stuff is in that convention hall, man. It's just all over the place, man. And it's like, I felt like, I made a list of what I want to see and all that stuff like that. But it's like, when you get to it and you actually have to do it, it's like, oh man, like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Like,
it's like, where's my map? Where's my list?
Like, I had my map and like I had it all ready. And then when it's like, you just get distracted.
Dude, this guy had every step where we're gonna go. I have a map drawn up. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. He gets there, going down the escalator.
Exactly.
Like, what the heck you mean? Where do you want to go first?
I've never been so overwhelmed in my life, man. I felt like it was like going to the grocery store and it has like all your favorite foods, but they're all in the same aisles. You know what I mean? Like, it just was like, it was nuts, man. Like, I knew what I wanted to do, but it was like, once you get there, you're like, oh man, so damn, this is like the first thing, like, off the bat, like, we gotta go see Borderlands. Then you go see Borderlands, the line is closed. The line is like 4 hours. I didn't even know where the line started. I mean, the line was like over here, and then there was like, that's not the beginning of the line. The line's over there. And then you see like a crowd of people, and I'm like, oh, God. Well, I'm not seeing Borderlands.
The line starts outside PAX East. Like,
the Borderlands line, like, literally, you could probably stay half of your day.
If you line up now, you might just be able to make it for PAX East 2013.
Yeah, if you lined up on Friday, you would have been able to see it on Saturday.
Yeah. But overall, you know, it's my second time there. Like I'm probably gonna be there every year for the rest of my life. But I'm just saying, I like it. It's just amazing. The only thing I was shocked about was one thing I was shocked about. Like, well, first this year I wasn't, you know, I didn't really care about playing all the games, stuff like that. I had a camera for first year, so I wanted to film everything. That's all it was, getting footage up. That's why I wanted to make that little clip for you guys, so you guys, if you missed it, you got a chance to see it. So I was all excited about the film.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad you pre-planned that element of it, because when you get there, you're like a little kid. You're not even thinking what's going on. Like, I'm playing game.
See how I put that together?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You didn't even notice. You didn't even notice how much like.
Bro, I was there for the
shots.
games, man. I was there for the games. I was not paying attention to anything.
I shot so many things, and it actually worked out on the video. But the one thing I was shocked about was Capcom and their Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Now I know the game came out before PAX East, but like the game for Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right, came out before PAX East last year. But I'm talking about, when I say this was everywhere, I'm talking about every booth had it. If you had a booth, a company about TV or whatever, they show, or surround sound, they want to show you the surround sound in a gaming room that people were playing, that they let people go against each other, arcade sticks, everything there. They had a Capcom booth. They had everywhere. There's another booth where for another video game company, they're showing Capcom just to play it. There's another place that's for what's it called? Was it Wildcat? The cats.
Mad Cats?
Mad Cats, there you go. Mad Cats arcade stick. They're showing introduced the arcade sticks playing MVC3. That game was everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, you play that. You could pick up the fighting stick and play people. If you go to the free play area, people are playing that. There's tournaments going, stuff like that. This year, there's one section, one area for Capcom. Yes, it was a big screen. Yes, they had tournament brackets and stuff like that. But as for free play and stuff like that, it wasn't too great. I went up to the tournament. They're in between tournaments, so I was able to play. I actually went against someone. I beat him. Like, I beat him twice. And people were like shocked because I kept using an infinite loop that I learned online. So I learned this trick and I was doing it. But the point is, I was trying to go against people that are challenging, and it really wasn't there like it was the previous years. And I was just shocked. Like, to me, that was the most shocking, because usually for, you know, arcade fighting style, there's something there, and it really wasn't. Like, people just focus on the tournament itself, and no one was there for free play. So I was just shocked about that. Besides that, I mean, that's a small thing. You know, I didn't really care as much. I was just shocked. Because compared to the year before, if you were there last year, you would have seen it. MVC3, like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, was everywhere. Everywhere. And this game was just one spot, one location, man.
Yeah.
So that was it for, but other than that, I had so much fun, record so much footage, and I can't wait for next year. So, I mean, which brings us to the last part, is what I expect from next year. I expect it to get even larger, more companies, because like this year is even more companies than last year, because they realize how big it's getting, how many people are showing up, how much potential this place has. We learned that convention center is going to build an even bigger part to it. So there's going to be even more room for panels, more room for everything there. And they're making a lot of money off that convention, the city of Boston. So, I mean, I'm just looking forward to see more games. Like, I don't know what to expect there. Obviously, we know that Wii U should be there by then, so at least there'll be one next generation game console, so we get the chance to see something like that. So would they announce by then if there's going to be another next generation console by then? Is it going to be the Xbox? Is it going to be the PlayStation? We don't know, but we know for sure that the Wii U will be there the next year, so that'll be something, added element to it. We'll see. Like upcoming games for the Wii U. Which
maybe Sony will be there next year.
Sony ain't gonna be there. Sony's smart in a way that they go there separate in Texas, so they don't have to compete against anyone. They just let their game go there.
Yeah, I don't think that, because everything there was Xbox. But the thing I was most surprised, it was a lot PC. Man. I was like, this is good. I was really excited about that, man.
I still like Xbox the way they're promoting, bro. They're still promoting that Connect hardware.
Yeah, they're
that's all it is.
That's
what the booth is. The booths were at Connect.
Everything was Connect.
Like, they're promoting that too hardcore, dude. That Connect is not going to sell the system for you.
No.
There's not.
But the thing, my point being was that every single game, when you played it, was on Xbox. That's the thing you have to understand. Everything you played on Xbox.
There's a lot of PlayStation games.
There was?
Yeah.
I didn't play one. Everything I played was on the Xbox.
There's a lot of PlayStation games I saw. There's some PlayStation games, but the problem was, like you said, PlayStation wasn't there. That's the reason why they did that. But
yeah.
it just,
so I mean, Sony they gotta step their game up.
Another convention in Texas that it was just mostly Sony. That's what I'm saying. Texas had a lot of people there too. They reached up to 68,000 people. And they were mostly just.
Well,
Sony.
they need something on the East Coast. Man.
Yeah, I know. They know that.
Well, it doesn't seem like it because they didn't have a presence at all there, man, and that's unfortunate. I mean, mostly for me, man, I want to see more smaller, more free to play games because I feel like that's the venue where those type of games they'll get noticed. That's what I was most excited about, man. Was like all these different games like I've never even heard about, and I got to either see or play them. And I was like, some of these ones were shockers. That's always the thing. You kind of the big games, what they're going to be like. You read up on them, you see all the different previews, you have a pretty good idea what's going on. But I just want to see more of the smaller games. They gotta figure out a way to get these games on the map correctly, man. They gotta have the name of the company and the games that they have, man. That way, next year I could look at the map, figure out where I want to go. These little smaller games. I mean, of course, there's always gonna be little small stuff you miss, but like the whole entire time, man, we were looking for Torchlight, man. That was driving me nuts, and then. We found out where it was, and we were there like 3 times. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, like everyone, and then by that time, like everyone wanted to go see Torchlight because they actually found out where it was. You know what I mean? So I feel like all these small games should have their own booth. They should have a location. I don't know. Maybe it's because it costs a lot of money.
It costs money. Yeah, it costs money at PAX East. PAX East is big time.
But how much money it is for them? They have a location to put it on the map. You know what I mean? They should have a map where the games are located and
it costs money, dude. It costs money. It costs money for
I don't see it costs that much money to put the name on the map.
You're talking about 82,000 people made it there. 82,000 people, okay? You know how much money that is? That 82,000 people might just check out your game, walking by it?
Yeah, that's why it's important to have a map. Have a map with the game on it, They can do it. Don't tell me they didn't make enough money to put a map. You know what I mean? They can make a better map. They can make a better map, man. They can make a better map.
Well,
that's my only complaint. It's not so much. I understand what you're saying. It's not so much. I'm not expecting Clyde Entertainment to have a big banner like Borderlands or something like that. But I'm saying like just have a map where like where the locations of the games are a little bit better. Don't just have the company. Have what games the company's showcasing. Because I actually had to go search. And figure out
that's difficult, man. Because there's last minute changes though. Yeah. Some companies don't show up because at the last second they had to pull their game that wasn't ready to be displayed. Yeah. That's why there's so many last minute changes and they move around. That's why I completely understand.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's not gonna be perfect, but
that's why I understand why they go by company because they're afraid some companies don't put out all their games because of last minute changes to it. Like. From what I heard, that they were gonna show a demo. They're gonna show a playable demo for the game that you're looking for.
Yeah,
Bioshock, and they pulled it, and it was not ready.
That sucks.
That's why I heard it was clearly going to be there. It was listed to be there, and it did not go there because of that. That's why they had all those hats and everything ready, and they didn't do it. They didn't show them.
That was another big disappointment.
That's why I was trying to say it was going to be there, but they decided last minute. That happens sometimes. It's not ready. You're better off not showing it to the public than showing a half-finished product.
Yeah, I can understand.
So that's weird.
That kind of sucks.
But, I mean, overall, I think we obviously have fun and stuff like that. So, I mean, I can't wait for next year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The question for this video, though, YouTube, is, let us know. Do you guys go to PAX East? Did you like it? After this video or after seeing the footage that we made, are you planning to go PAX East in the future? And if not that, have you been to any other video game convention, cosplay convention, any convention? Just let us know what conventions you've been to. We're kind of interested to find out. Besides that, definitely check out our website at www.not2nerdy.com. Also, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. I mean, we got a lot of things going on. We're definitely going to be working on newer games. We're going to do Prototype 2 when it comes out. We're also going to show, we're still going to get a chance to show the Resident Evil game, but we'll be putting that up on the site as well.
I'll be doing Fez coming up this week, as well as Trials Evolution, and, then next month, we got all those big games coming out. We're definitely busy, as busy for April as I thought we were. There's a lot of smaller games coming out, so there's always, there's always DLC and stuff like that we'll show you guys as well. So. And
if any other game pops out out of nowhere, we'll let you guys know. We'll post it up there. So I guess that's it for episode 10. So we're on double digits now in episodes, which is pretty cool. I think we got a little bit better at it. A little smooth flow to it. And I hope you guys enjoy it. We're getting better equipment. We're trying our best, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So there goes episode 10 of our podcast. So this is Hector from Not2Nerdy.